so much better than anybody trying to do something by themselves.
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%. And and it's interesting because we use the word independent, right? And we always want to be as independent as possible. But we need our tribe, our people, those people who are either going to cheer us on or give us a helping hand when we need it. So we need people. We need each other. Can you imagine living in a world where it's just you and nobody else, and like just maybe those five people in your life, and that's it? Like there's a whole world out there. So independence is important, but getting that tribe of people, that community, um, that's so important as well. We cannot forget that we can't do it all alone. It takes a village for everything.
It truly, truly does. I think there's been quite a few movies made over the years where somebody's, trapped on an island or something where they're by themselves, and it doesn't go well, does it? We're not built to be alone. We're built for
No.
community.
Exactly. We definitely are. And while time alone is also important and good for us, that's where we are able to go within ourselves, and um that's where even all the magic happens as well, where you get creative and you're able to um you know, realize that you can do something without all the extra noise. But so there's a difference between having all that outside noise and having that outside love. So we do need that support, but without the noise. So, you want to get rid of the naysayers. You want to get only people who, who will support you, who will cheer you on, and even challenge you, right? Because we can't always have people who are always going to be, oh yeah, Denise, that's great. Oh yeah, that's fantastic. Oh yeah, no, you want someone who's going to be out there and say, well, yeah, I can see where you're going with that, but what do you think about, right? So just like what you
Oh
said
yeah.
about Kurt, being in that mastermind, all these minds coming together, you can make so much magic.
That is how I see things as well, where having the power of the collective mind, or having that synergy. I know that's kind of a buzzword out there, but it's real. Ha Bringing that together so makes a difference. And so if you don't mind me asking, from the viewpoint of having a disability and having that, I want to say I used the word need help earlier, having that need for help in different areas. What kind of feedback can you or advice can you give to folks who haven't yet experienced that kind of need? Because I'm going to say a friend years ago called someone like me a tab, a temporarily able-bodied. Just because I'm able-bodied now does not mean it's going to stay that way until God calls my number. So
Yeah.
it's something that I don't think people think about until they need to think about it. So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, and that's a really good point because, I, for the most part, grew up with my disability. I learned to adapt and, of course, ask for help when I need to. But when you age into a disability, or, God forbid that you have an accident or something happens, right? And all of a sudden you are disabled, and all of a sudden you do need a lot more help. Um, it is very difficult when you don't when you are not used to asking for the help, right? So all of a sudden be thrown into a situation where now you need it, shameful, afraid to ask for help. Maybe you think that no one's going to want to help you, or you don't want to feel like a burden to anyone. But if you start asking for help, or just again building that tribe of people, that village or those people, even if it's just a few people that you can count on. You can be 100% yourself, and then you'll know, yeah, I can ask these people for the help. But you need to start with even little things, because when those big things arrive, you may not want to ask for the help. But if you start building that communication and that openness with people around you, it'll be a lot easier if and probably when anything arises.
Even with Project Die Hard is a group that I'm actually an ambassador with them, and Project Die Hard is all about giving hope to veterans and being that voice, being that resource because of the horrible news of the suicide rate among our veterans. And Project Die Hard is there to make a difference. And one thing that has come across my ears as I've been part of this group for a while is that piece of people feeling like they're just supposed to know all the things, right? They hesitate to ask for help because they're in the military, they're trained to be able to do their job, do their th whatever it is that they're doing.
Right.
They're the one. They're supposed to be able to just do it. And then now coming back to civilian life, all of a sudden things change, right? And it's a whole new ball game. And you don't necessarily know all the rules in this side of things because of it, being so different than what you've been used to being in the military. And I'm saying this coming from I'm always been a civilian. I've never served in the military. I just know I've been told the same similar story enough times over and over that I believe it, that
Mhm.
the hard part is realizing that it's okay to ask for help because we're not all going to be having all our stuff together all the time throughout our life. We all need to be able to know that,
Mhm.
hey, okay, that's whatever, there's something that's going on that's too much. I can't do this alone. And to
Yeah,
first of all realize it, and second of all know that it's okay to reach out. It is.
absolutely. And then the other thing I was going to say is if we don't ask for the help when we need it, one, we can't assume that people around us are going to know that we need help because if they really know us and they know that we're stubborn sometimes, they're not going to
Hmm.
want to ask us, hey, do you need any help with that? They're going to shy away because they don't want to hear, no, if I need help, I'll ask you. Sometimes people can get a little rude about it. They don't mean to, but it does tend to come out. So we need to, again, learn to ask for help, especially around those that we know are there for us. They love us. There are people, not feel shameful. And then also that will let them be at ease to know that when you do need help, you'll ask. So that way they don't feel like, oh my God, should I ask her? Does she need help? Like, I don't know, is she gonna get upset? Because maybe she can do it herself. Maybe it's just taking a little longer. So you also put the other people at ease in your life that they'll know, well, when she needs something, she's gonna ask for it.
Such a good point. And well, and I'm gonna actually flip the switch to the other end where with a lot of these adaptive events that I've been at, like adaptive skiing and whatnot, I know we have wheelchair users there, and I've seen the overly eager, helpful helper want to be helpful and not knowing how and not asking. But if somebody's wheeling themselves from point A to point B, they'll just come on over and grab on the handles on the back and start pushing them. And I've also seen multiple times, multiple people being like, whoa, 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 don't, nope, nope, I don't, I'm okay, I don't need that. You
Yeah,
know, so asking and being comfortable saying, hey, if can I help?
yeah.
That I think is appropriate. We don't want to assume that whatever I have in mind as being helpful is necessarily what the recipient of the help is looking for.
Exactly. And you make a very good point about a wheelchair because can you imagine if you're walking down the road and someone just all of a sudden pushes you from the back, just grabs you back and pushes you? Yeah, that may help you walk a little faster, right? Like that's not going to work for you, right? You might end
That's
up
a little scary.
exactly, exactly. So, um, yeah, it's just about asking. And so, yes, it's about the person asking, do you need help? Can I help you? Do you need any assistance before just going and doing it? And then also, the person that needs the help needs to really start training themselves and those around them that when they need the help, you can bet I'm going to ask for it. Until then, I got this. I'll let you know if I need help.
And that's perfect. Having that communication. So that comes back to really the bottom line of this is communication. And it, speaking as an introvert and when I was a kid being so shy, it's like I don't want to speak up. Even if I know the answer, it's like unless I know, I'm not speaking up. And now, all these years later, I'm a little less shy about sharing opinions and and letting people know where I'm at. But and I think taking personality into account along the way and knowing that uh, that oh my gosh. Whenever I think of personality types, I go back to if that was maybe I bet it's been 20 years now. Maybe 20 years ago that I was at an event where they talked in depth about like different personality types and we actually like took a big quiz on how to figure out what your strengths and weaknesses are as far as what's your and I misspoke there, what your strengths are and characteristics, I should say, because we all have different aspects of ourselves that we consider a strength. And it could be, in general, some people are more outgoing, some people are more introverted, and that's just an easy one for people to know and relate to. But to be able to understand that we all are coming from a different place and that we've all walked a different road, even if you look at people who are twins, even though they've got a lot of similarities going on in their world, they're still two very different people, and experience means a lot. And nobody knows where I've all been in my life. I don't know
Yeah,
where you've all been in your life, so trying to have that communication though to be related, be relatable, and to take into account the other person is probably coming at it from a different angle, and that's okay.
yeah, yeah. And it's not like it's either um a bad way to do things. It's just not necessarily the way that that person needs it. And hey, there are some people out there that are okay with you pushing them, saying, hey, or it just, it's because you don't know how someone's going to react, it's best to ask. And if they say, no, I'm fine, then just know that they're fine. Even if they sound winded, even if they look like they're struggling, if they say they're fine, take it at face value or, common value in this case. But just know that it's okay. It's okay for you to ask, and it's okay if they say no. But again, also, as a person that will eventually need help, it's okay to have that communication line open from the beginning so that way it's neither uncomfortable for either one of you.
Oh, and here I got another one for you. What about those times where, because I'm thinking specifically of one of my friends who's a wheelchair user and he doesn't drive, so he always has somebody with him if he's out and about, because at minimum he had somebody drive him there. What would you say to somebody as you're having interaction then and let's see, whoever walks over to talk to or ask a question doesn't talk to the person in the wheelchair, but talks to the caregiver. What kind of thoughts do you have around that?
Mhm. Well, yeah, that's happened to me. And the funny thing is that uh it's again when you're out and about with people and people know you, they'll respond. So for example, that has happened to me in the past. And like for example, if I went to a doctor's appointment, right? And I'm at the receptionist area, getting ready to sign in and everything. And they asked me, well, they don't ask me, they ask the person with me, what's she here for? And the person, knowing how I am and my little kind of snarky ways sometimes, she was just as snarky as I would have been. She's like, I don't know, ask her. So
Good for
I
her.
think, yeah. So it's again about letting the people that are around you know that maybe don't answer that way, but just say, um, well, you can ask her or just be present if you need them, but they don't need to be hovering over you either. So there's a fine line. But it also goes back to years, like decades and decades ago, where a married couple would go somewhere and they would talk to the husband and not
Mhm.
the wife, right? So times evolve, people learn, and it's just about opening up communication.
And that's a great point because really that is something until you experience this and because I'm guilty. I'm telling you right now, I've done it back when we were first doing some of these adaptive events. I made that error. That's what part of why I share it because until you put yourself in that situation and figure out what you're going to do and how are you going to interact, until you actually do that, you might not know what you're going to do because you've never been there before. This is all new. And that's
Yeah,
why I like sharing out that kind of thing too, because I've had my aha moments along the way. And
yeah,
if I can shorten somebody else's learning curve on, oh yeah, that makes sense. But I
yeah.
never thought of that because why would I have thought of that? If there's anything that we can do here to help shorten that learning curve, I am so all for it.
Well, you know what? We're doing it now by having that open dialogue and letting people out there listen and learn you know, and hey, if you guys were out there listening, just remember, just ask. Start a conversation. Just ask.
So I know we have a mutual friend that's all about smiles and the power of a smile. So that's something you might see coming down the pipe soon because Smiling Sue was a thing back. Oh man, literally the first day Kurt and I met. We played a name game, and part of that name game was you had to have some kind of a word to go with your name as we're all learning each other's names, and it had to start with the same letter. So mine, I came up with Smiling Sue because it just fit. So, and he was kicking Kurt, and I'm gonna be starting something soon here that's gonna be you'll be able to start being searchable. It's not yet because I haven't used it yet, but hashtag Smiling Sue is gonna be a thing soon. And that power of a smile really does make a difference. And sharing out good things, good news, good whatever makes a difference.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. And you make a point. When you're smiling, you're opening up the door, right? Because people now know that they can approach you. You're not going to be moody. You're not going to be like, get away from me. They ask you to help me. They ask you to talk to me. Like, you don't want to um approach someone who might even be having an off day. Maybe they're not even really like that, but that particular moment, they're having an off day. But if you're already welcoming people with a smile and you're opening up the doors with that smile, you'd be surprised what could happen.
I would totally agree. That is something I know you have experienced things like giggle gathering or laughter yoga. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what that is?
Oh my gosh, I love laughter yoga. Um, well, mainly because with my particular disability, I can't really do yoga. But when I heard about laughing yoga, I was like, what? All I need to do is laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh differently and laugh again. Yeah, I can do that. And so, yeah, I loved it. And it is amazing how laughing um changes your whole mood. It really does because also you have to understand that when you're laughing, you're using different muscles. You're using different breath control. So it just changes in unbelievable ways. Your attitude, yeah, just it nourishes your soul. It really does.
I could not agree more. And I'm gonna say this from I'm gonna totally admit that the first bunch of times I heard laughter yoga happening was Kurt being on some meeting where they're doing 30 seconds straight of laughing. And we know that with Happy Neighborhood Project, there's one of the meetings where Edwin does that on Fridays. And And that's part of it is 30 seconds, ready, set, go. Everybody starts laughing. And I tell you know how long it took me to actually hop on board and try it? And because I would always hear that and I'd be in the background going, oh my God, they're doing it again. Oh, what are they doing? I just can't believe they're doing this. And then I tried.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. This is so good. I felt so
Yeah.
much better after. It's
Oh
like, what?
yeah.
Why did I resist it?
Yeah. It does. It really fills you up. Like it gives you the energy. Like if, especially if you're having an off day, even if you fake laugh initially and you just continue laughing, that fake laugh, I guarantee you, will turn into a full-on hysterical laughter, crying can't stop, and it will completely change your mood for the day.
I totally agree. Make that combination be a thing. Take time to laugh. Take time to smile. It automatically makes your body feel better because it's how your system works. Being
Yeah.
able to do that, to me, it's always worked for me, and I guess that's what I can speak to. But I know we're running up against the clock here. I wonder if you have any final thoughts you want to share.
Final thoughts. Laugh, live creatively, be positive, and remember, you got this. And if you don't got it, ask for those people around you to help you because together we can do anything.
Oh, that is words to live by right there. Denise, I am so glad that you were able to come and join me tonight. This again is Denise Vargas from Live Creatively. Oh my gosh. My name is Sue Roskopf. I am here all the time with Ability MKE now and absolutely love the privilege of being able to speak to these different topics and to be able to share our fun. As always, we thank you.